morning all and welcome back to the channel. Regular viewers will know that we managed to get this thing started on the last episode. So what I'm keen to do today, might not be the longest video I've ever released, but I'd like to get it out in the sunshine. It is actually sun shining today, it's beautiful, it's the bank holiday weekend. This is on the little trolleys, what are they called? I can never remember. Bogies, you know what I mean. I can never remember the name of these bloody things under the wheels. It'll come to me at some point and then I'll shout it out. But until then, so it needs lifting up, some of the bodywork perhaps repositioning. The side panels I'm not going to put back on obviously because we gave those a good clean outside last time. The nose cones had a good clean. This is filthy and in actual fact we could detach the broken wing mirrors and the wiring. We won't need those, of course, when it's a track car because there'll be no need for side repeaters, although we will need some form of rear view mirror and I guess we'll need side mirrors as well, won't we? But you can't see much out of them. You can't see around the car. So I need wing mirrors, if indeed they are wing mirrors on a car like this. Not really on the wing, is it? But you know what I mean. Something bigger. I was looking last night at some of the F1 style mirrors, which are great. But they come out quite a long way on carbon fibre shafts. So maybe we could do something like that. But I think the thing to do is let me get the seats out of the way, which we don't need today. They can go down to the kit car factory and I might actually unattach the bottom cushion, which is, as regular viewers again will know, is blue and I need it to be black because they're going in the other car. So we might unpick that. But let's get this out in the sunshine first, see how it looks, start it most importantly, assuming it will start again, and let it run up to temperature. That's really what I'm keen to do. Blow away a few of the cobwebs and yeah, if that happens again and we can get it to start, I'll be over the moon. So bear with me, I'll have a tidy up, open the doors and hopefully we'll be driving it outside. Okay folks, yeah, I figured that before I replace the bodywork on the car, the sensible thing to do might be to remove this broken mirror. In fact, remove both mirrors. A, because we don't need this style of mirror on a track car, and B, because it's knackered. So it appears to be held in with nothing more than a pair of wood screws. So let me see. Oh, it's crunchy a bit. I think it's probably wood screws screwed straight into, I don't know what it's screwed into. It feels like hard plastic. To be fair, it isn't the mounting that's come away. It's the, there look, yeah, wood screw with the end cut off. It's not the mounting that's the problem. The whole mirror has just given up the game. God knows what's inside it. Let's see if I can undo the other wood screw. Losing my binoculars. Let's have a look. Oh, I can see down the side now. I'll show you when it comes off. Looks like a big chunk of resin or something similar. Can you see what's going on there? It's all coming apart. A little bit Heath Robinson, shall we say. It's coming out though. Oh, right, here we are. Blimey, okay. Yeah, it is effectively a chunk of resin. So that's the wiring that would, and indeed should, have gone down to the to those two plugs at the front that we saw last week that are not being used. They're not being used because they're not plugged into this, and they're not plugged into this, I guess, because it's knackered. So that's one removed. Two wood screws gone. I can give that a wipe, and then we'll work out. Looks like someone's had a go before at something, but we can put, as we did with the yellow car, we can put some form of patch on there that then holds a much more substantial mirror that actually comes out a good 6 or 8 inches. 150 millimeters for those of the metric persuasion, 150, 200 mil, something like that, with a, I don't know, with a mirror on the end of it. Anyway, for the time being, let me disconnect the other end, disconnect the other mirror rather, consign these to the repair pile, get this bodywork back on before we push it outside. Right, similarly, it makes sense, I think, to remove these two headrests before putting the bodywork back on, because they're going down to the kit car factory to go on the yellow car. Now these will, I'm assuming, when I take this off, but there's no, it won't. I was going to say it'll leave a bloody great hole behind the seats, but looking from inside, it doesn't look like that's the case. So that's the wing nut off, but there's a bolt as well. Hopefully it's 10mm. It felt 10mm. Is it, or is that spinning? Oh, actually doesn't feel overly tight. Pull that off. Let's have a look. No, it's not overly tight. Seems to be a theme. Some of these fasteners. That's coming undone. Let's see what we've got. Point being that behind the head rest, there we go. So that's going down the road to the yellow car. Yeah, that's just a bit of fiberglass. I suppose you could cut a hole out of that, and then it would let air straight into the engine compartment, which for a track day car might be a sensible move. Having said that, it will be tucked behind. It's going to be tucked behind the seats, isn't it? Or at least one of them is. Unless I put two seats in the track car, because then you could go with a passenger, couldn't you? Because I think on a track day rather than a race day, if that will come off, yeah, it will come off by hand. On a track day rather than a race day, I say race day, well, we'll get racing eventually, won't we? But that won't be how we start. I've got two yellow fiberglass race seats, so there's no harm in putting them both in, I suppose. Anyway, I digress. What I'm getting at is, by the time the race seats have gone in, which have got a much higher back, you're going to cover up these pods, and therefore you won't get much airflow into the engine anyway, would you? Unless I modify this back fiberglass engine cover with that in mind and have more of a scoop in the middle. There we go, another one. Not sure how we would have a scoop in the middle unless we have something that is in the middle and then feeds into these two channels, because as you can see from here, look, there's a great, this is basically covering the engine, so anything that comes straight, any air that comes straight down there will cool the block, cool the head, cool the engine generally, so it's not a bad thing. Anyway, this is ready to go back on now. I've removed those, and we're getting closer to opening the garage door. Me again, folks, still no closer to opening that garage door. I thought, well, I've got the engine cover off, it would be sensible to show you the inside of the engine bay. So this, on the blue car, we have a 1.6 litre Ford EcoBoost engine. EcoBoost meaning it is turbocharged. So air intakes here, obviously, going round through to the turbo, and all that gubbins is under there. You can see from the back here the exhaust system looks like there's a catalytic converter there. For the track we may not need that, so we might modify the exhaust, although is that necessary? Not sure. This is interesting. Down here is a whole line of radiators, so that's a bespoke radiator. But what's cool is, if I show you just on the other side, if you see these scoops or slopes behind the driver's and passenger seat, that's actually an air intake. So the air rushes along the ground. Show you better from down there. Excuse the dirt and grime, we've got to clean this car yet. But the air comes underneath the car, up through that scoop on both sides, and then through the radiator. What that's actually doing though, I guess, by the time it's been through the radiator, it's expelling warm air into the bottom of the engine compartment, or into the engine compartment. It looks to me here as well like we've got the two ECUs and another fuse box. I say two ECUs. My understanding of the Ford EcoBoost engine is that one ECU, I think this one, what's that called? It's a Tornado 2, yeah, I'm fairly sure. That's a power torque ECU that controls the engine management system. And I think the other ECU, also from power torque, is to control the injectors on the motor. Engine. So quite a unique, I'll talk to the designer about whether or not that chucking what will be warm air into the engine bay has ever been a problem. Probably wasn't as a road car. I say a road car, this has never been IVA'd of course. But But nevertheless, he doesn't seem to have had a problem with it, but we may need to alter some of these things if it's going to become a full-on track car, and that is the plan. So just thought I'd show you that before I put the engine cover back on, which is leaning up against the door now we've taken the headrests off. Let me zoom out, or walk backwards, I'm not zooming out. Let me show you what we've got going on here. So the car now, I've put the nose back on, we've just put the bodywork back on and removed the mirrors. I'm going to have to, I've reconnected the fuel line so the hose is back on so that we can use the filler cap should we wish to. But let me get it off the trolleys, get it off trolley, and we are almost, get the rear engine cover back on, and we're almost ready. I said this last time, didn't I? We're almost ready to open the garage doors. Okay folks, bodywork's back on. It's off the wheel dollies. Wheel dollies! Whee, I remembered, wheel dollies. It's off the wheel dollies. I've pushed it to the point where the exhaust is sticking out. I don't want to push it all the way out onto the gravel where I've got a slight incline, because if it won't start, I can't get it back in again. So, nothing ventured. Let's put the handbrake on, which I seldom do. It's not in gear. The exhaust is sticking out the back, so it should be all right there. Let me just double check that in this natural daylight you're not flickering like a good one. No, it seems to be all right. Let's see if we can get it rolling. Let's see if we can get it started. Now, what I did before that seemed to work is I was feathering the throttle pedal. Obviously the sides aren't back on, so I can get to that. I was feathering the throttle pedal rather than not, which seemed to help it start. Let's give it a go. We know there's plenty of fuel in, fuel lines attached. Have I forgotten anything? Who knows? Here goes. Oh, whoa. Go! I've realised, of course, I've got nothing to sit in. I've got nothing to sit on. Let me get a pile of blankets. Here goes, my blimey. I've got a pile of dust sheets there somewhere. You won't be able to see me. That should do for my bonials. Is there any reason I shouldn't reverse that out? I don't think so. Well, if it started once, it'll start again, and if it started, it'll be able to drive back in, won't it? What's sod it? Come on, let's give it a go. Right, when I've got it outside, I will can't reach the pedals. What a carry on. Right, got the clutch in. Can't remember where reverse is. Is it there? Let's find out. Whoa. No, that's not it. Maybe it's up and to the right. 1, 2. 5-speed box. Might have to go and get the gear knob. Let's try that, up and to the left. Yeah, right, we're in business. Now, no mirrors, obviously. Not quite in reverse. It is now. Right, what a palaver. Let me back out. Good Lord, my bum's bony. Let me back out. And then I'll take it off the tripod and show you what it looks like in the daylight. Doesn't like reverse. There'll be some fettling to do, I have no doubt. You might lose me now. Okay, we know it drives forward. So the aim of the game really now is to let it warm up, as it hasn't run for months and months and months. But I think we'll call that a success. Let me take you off the tripod and I'll give you a spin round. Okay folks, we're outside in the, well I say sunshine, it's gone behind the trees now, but you get the idea. I think it's ticking over beautifully, if you can hear it. There's no side panels on for, as you know, because I took them off to remove the decals. We've removed the side mirrors. Are we calling them wing mirrors? Let's call them wing mirrors, but they're not really. Step back here and just have a full view. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. That is ticking over rather nicely. Not very loud. Let's give the loud pedal a bit of a press. Cool. It is. It's warmed up now, and any condensation or smoke? No, condensation. Any condensation coming out the rear pipe seems to have cleared up. The rear engine cover's wobbling. Rather a function, I think, of the Zeus fasteners, but I mean the whole thing needs a good clean. As you know, inside it's filthy. There's leaves and all sorts of what was the word we used last week? Detritus. Covered in detritus. But there you go. It's running, it's driving. Still need to take those old Vortex decals off the wheels, I've noticed. I'm going to leave the V2, as people who tuned in last week will know, because it was built a V2, it will always be a V2. It's just no longer a Vortex automotive vehicle, it's a humble Nomad automotive vehicle. So that, I think you'll agree, will make one hell of a cracking track car. I mean, it's just made for it, isn't it? Look at it. Give another spin round, let's go around again. Lovely yellow wheels in outrageous yellow. Side panels got some yellow on, that's getting quieter and quieter as it warms up. Yeah, I like the yellow at the back. Bit of a wobble where it's vibrating against the frame, the space frame, so I think we need some padding under there. Again, you can see there, look, there's the decals on the centre of the wheel that have got to go. Let's go and have a look. I think the only other, I've just spotted another one. So there's a decal there we need to lose in the centre of the steering wheel, and another one there over on the passenger side blue panel. But regular viewers, in fact anybody who is currently viewing the channel, if you look at our logo, which is a roundel, I believe they call it, so it's a round logo. It was designed as a round logo specifically to go in the centre of steering wheels, the centre of alloy wheels, etc., and to work well with YouTube and Instagram and all other social media like. Sound like I know what I'm talking about, and I can assure you I don't. Oh, by the way, yes, let me say please like and subscribe. I should have done that ages ago, shouldn't I? I meant to say it well before the end. Please like and subscribe, and you will see, if you do, the evolution of this machine into a track day car. I think, well, ultimately a race car, I hope, but the first plan is to get it ready for the track and take it to either up the road, in my case to Croft, or possibly Cadwell, which is where my motorbike exploits were predominantly enjoyed. So I know that track quite well. It's probably made well for Cadwell because it's tiny and powerful. They call it the mini Nürburgring, so I can't get... What could possibly go wrong? How much trouble can I get into there? He says, having skidded across the grass on his helmet many a time at Cadwell. Anyway, I digress. Yes, so there you have it. I think a bit of T-cut is required to remove the staining where the old decals have come away. But I can't tell you how pleased I am that that has started and that we have a running car ready to prepare for the track. So folks, thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. I'm saying it yet again. Makes a huge amount of difference to the channel. Costs you absolutely nothing. And it encourages me to make more ridiculous videos of this nature. So if you're enjoying them, give me a thumbs up, do the necessary, and I'll see you on the next one. Please click the like button, subscribe for more content of this nature. Join me again on the next one.